Leif, Cory, please do not hang up. I will pay you guys. I'm paying you right now. If you will just communicate, and I can prove that I did not try to groom my youngest daughter. I think Leif probably knows that or suspects that. I think Leif probably knows or suspects a few things that have changed about me and are much better, a hell of a lot better. I hope that's not too assuming, but Leif, you did do something awful wrong, and there's no excuse for it either, and it was robbing me and my children of our relationship. But I understand, okay, it's not the same as with my first wife. I am just asking that you make up for it by being willing to communicate, a season of communication, at the very least 2 times on the phone or online. I'm not even going to demand in person, which, I'm demanding that we speak for a season, which is several months, at the very least 8 or 9 months. And if this sounds absurd to you, I am willing to give a lot for the wrong I've done and the good I haven't done and how good of a person you were, and I'm eager to. And I hope you are eager to do what I'm demanding, because it's a very small, tiny amount of what I deserve and what you should do. And it's cool because I'm willing to accept a tiny amount of what, I otherwise should and could expect. But I'm considering a lot of things. And I hope you don't think it's brash, because actually it's very humble. And I'm eager to give you guys some stuff. You and your guy, Cory, who to me is family also. And if you would rather Cory start communicating with me, I would love that. I have a lot of respect for Cory. Don't worry about me playing badass or violent or this or that. That's stupid for many reasons. I am very, very afraid of running Cory off, okay? Let's get that straight. So I'm going to watch my P's and Q's. I'm scared to death of running him off or you off, and you guys will miss out a lot. I have a lot to offer, and I don't have any possibility of being anything near what I was as far as bad, okay? I can jump through how did I put that? Jump through a hula hoop on roller skates backwards to prove this. I'd be eager to. And I'm welcome any ideas you have to come up with your own ideas to prove it. Anyway, I have, and I'm going to pay you $30 for a half-hour conversation, $50 for a 1-hour conversation, maybe $60. And, I'm demanding, don't take this harsh, I'm demanding only a season of communication twice a week. It's not written in stone. It doesn't have to be that you can't miss or we can't put it off, but 2 conversations, at least a half hour to 40 minutes, 30 or 40 minutes. I think that sometimes they should be more than half an hour. I'm convinced that after you and I start talking, if Cory does the talking at first, I expect that's cool with me. That's perfectly fine. And Cory will be fine if he sees the way I view him. I don't know who he is. I don't know, I might have some idea. I might guess, kind of lucky, but I think he's a pretty damn good dude, maybe to a great guy. And there's reasons I say that. I haven't been stalking his Facebook. I'm scared to actually go there. I'm intimidated. I have a condition where it's hard for me to look at things I should, and that's one of them. But I've got to do it here. And when I contacted him, and he told me to get lost, I understand that, but this is not something he can say, hey, he can tell me to get lost because I haven't had my chance. He may think that I've had my chance and blew it. No, this has to do with my kids, and you did things very wrongly when it comes between me and the kids. Okay, but the good news is I've been really, really angry at you, I think 4 times in 8 years, and I think I should do something if you continue to refuse to talk. All you got to do is communicate twice a week, and you can do that indirectly and start out with Cory. I think that after about, let's say 6 to 8 weeks, you should start talking. And I think this isn't a demand, but I think there'll be some things that I'll push. I won't wear them the hell out every time, but I may quickly hey, we should have a meeting in person. But I think you begin communicating with me even if it's Cory at first, that you'll be okay with meeting in person, especially if Cory does. Or you guys can send a, what do you call it? What's that word? Proxy? Oh, shit. I forgot a few bucks. Oh, yeah, anyway. I have paid a couple $1,000 toward, or more, maybe up to $3,000 or more toward things for you, a little cash, a lot of payments in your court and your attorney, and some money that I meant to send but I screwed up. And let's see what else. There's at least $2,500 on the low side, easy, that I have spent. And that doesn't sound like much, and it's not much. But I could have done more if you'd been working with me, and I can do more. And I will be more productive if I have a reason to live, like anybody should. Anybody should be able to have a chance and not shut down with their kids, okay? But anyway, for instance, I paid, I'm not certain, but on your court costs, on your felony court case, which you never should have had. But then again, with some people, it can prevent them from dying, but you know, they should expunge yours, and you can get it expunged. If you move to a different county, that's a lot more likely. Like, that's one reason I wanted to talk to you guys. I wanted you to move up here. If you get to know me, and there are safe ways to do that, you'll know you're not around somebody who can do the same thing. I did, I'm not sure if it went through or not. I thought that I was going to threaten you guys a couple of times. And I did start to do it, and I think it might have gone through, but I thought it didn't. But maybe it did. So if you're worried about that, yeah, there are times when I wonder if I could do something physically to you guys. And the thing is I'm pretty sure I cannot. Now, there was a time period or two when I wasn't so sure because I was suffering and clouded. But the reason I paused there is because I do believe it's possible that I could do harm to certain, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 people maybe. I don't know who they are. They're not you. They're not anyone we know. There's someone connected to me, though. And let's just, you know, I'm not going to say much because I don't allow myself what I call seed thinking. Just like with addiction, I don't allow the thought so it doesn't become a blade of grass, which turns into a field of grass, into a forest and such. So with these people, I don't allow myself to pin down who they are. And I pretty much feel they deserve it. I wouldn't feel bad for my first wife either. But, you know, I'm not driven toward that with her, just so you know. And the way I think about you is family. I love you more than anybody except the girls. Listen, Cory, if you care about your old lady and yourself, you will benefit a lot more if you communicate with me and you hear what I have to offer, which may not seem like an incredible amount, but it is significant in different categories. But it will become a lot better and a lot stronger in a relatively short time. 6 months to a couple of years, I will be healthier, stronger, much better and more able and productive to offer a lot more things in all categories to both of you. My friendship with her is only going to be platonic. The flavor I have when I think of her is family, like the girls. You've got nothing to worry about, okay? And as a matter of fact, I have thought, if I could talk you guys into moving up here. I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. It is for many reasons, because of my own reasons to repair things that I did wrong to. I have a huge philosophy in altruism and goodness, and the true power is in healing. I also know, and I view things very, very, very differently, 180 differently, as the way I used to. When I used to blame her, see her as this and that, I know I was wrong. I'm not just kissing ass. I'm not at all. But I do have some ulterior motives, but they're not bad for any of you guys. They're good for you guys. I want to see my kids. I also want to salvage that relationship. I got a big hang up If I invest time in something, that's life force, literally. It's the currency of life. And if you invest in a relationship and it goes down the drain and you don't have regular communication and interaction with that person, you just chopped off a piece of your life, man. I did. And I've got a huge hang up about that. I've also got a huge hang up about a lot of things that are good. This is good for her and by way of you. Look, if I must, I'm going to be coming up there. I'm going to be finding people who know you both. I don't want to do that. I want to not do that, okay? But I'd like to come up if invited. But we got to communicate, people. We need to communicate. I'm suffering and it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Time hasn't healed it. And it was wrong for her to keep the girls and me apart. And I could name some things that would straight up make this, like, for instance, she claimed the reason is because Kendra Lawrence told her that I was doing drugs. Andrew Bostick was a dealer. Andrew Bostick's brother, Jermaine Bostick, is a retired police detective. Doesn't mean Andrew can't be a drug dealer. And I actually learned that Andrew did do, I guess he did a fair amount of cocaine when he was in college. And I didn't know this because he didn't do anything when we hung out. He was square. Ever since he and I have been hanging out since 2006 or 7, we've gone to the bars. Now, I couldn't say a certain amount of times because early on I was drinking or doing anything to stop my suffering. Matter of fact, one time when he took me to the bar, he went to the dentist, he got a prescription of pain pills, and I stole them and I told him somebody ripped them off. He didn't even need them or care, but I told him, I admitted that, and you can talk to him and find this out. Actually, I kind of flipped out a little bit on him around Halloween. I was really depressed and bummed out, and I pushed him away as a friend, but I'm sure he'd be happy to prove to you guys. Now, his mom's, she has Alzheimer's now. She's in a nursing home. But Andrew, he's square as can be. Let's see. Since, I stopped using in pretty much the fall of 2009 when I got on Suboxone. And I have used since then, but like the time you accused me, I thought you were serious, but somebody told me something that makes sense. You may have been accusing me of that prescription when you called me on the phone that time for an ulterior motive. And I didn't think so. I was sober like Mom told you I was at that time. I didn't start using again until not long after that. You kept the girls away from me. Now look, I could have done shots at you when you were under a chin investigation when I was at Westville. I could have hit you while you were down. I could have kept doing it even after that. I could have done it during this case. I actually was trying to reach you and offer help, testimony in court, telling them what I did to you and how I'm responsible for that. But as I was the victim before I was the victimizer, you must see also you did victimization without any excuse and reason. But it feels like it, doesn't it? Look, I know who was wrong. I know I was wrong. I know what you were. I know that you were like, I can't really say you were wrong with anything. The only thing I had some concern that something might happen to my kid when I got locked up because you had a lifestyle that made you subject to addiction, potentially, eventually, and a lot of this stuff. And I'm sure now that you have become addicted, and I wonder if Cory and them, all these people that hear you talk about your accolades in the past, I'm sure they don't disbelieve you, but it'd be nice for somebody to be able to tell them, yeah, she was built like that, carried us all, and took this type of abuse that most people wouldn't survive through. Look, what happened to me is my responsibility. I'm eagerly not only anticipating, but I'm trying to bring it to you for many years to do a cleanup. For many years, I've been a changed person, and I've been very safe for you to be around. For several years, I've been the best person for you to be around, other than your guy. But in some ways, I'm better, and of course, in other ways, he's a much better person than I am. I mean, that's pretty damn clear. okay? But look, I love you like a sister, platonically. Cory, if you care about your old lady, you and anybody would buy a gift that would make sure to reduce, that would guarantee the reduction of your spouse's likelihood to encounter an accident or some self-imposed harm, whether directly or indirectly. Let's say you know so many people out there, in 10 years, so many of them are going to be dead by awful means. And there are many out there which are worse than I thought. I've also learned some things I used to disbelieve, and I'm actually interested in whether or not Leif had these beliefs, like about paranormal, aliens, UFOs. She was big into the movies. It doesn't mean that she believed it, but I scoffed at it. I know she was also very scholastically intelligent. I haven't had a spouse correct me as many times as she has on many things, man. You know, etymology or terminology, vocabulary, whatever, man. A lot of things, okay? Enunciation, pronunciation. It's very rare that someone did. I'm quite dumber than I used to be. It's noticeable. At least 15 to 20%. But I think I'm still above average intellect in 2 or 3 categories. I don't think anything's brilliant and shining. Just don't. I can put together an impressive few phraseology or few sentences, but you know, and the truth of the previous studies of mine are pretty impressive, but I'm quite a bit dumber, man. But look, I've got a lot of value. I will live, kill, cheat, die, lie, steal for you guys, which I hate doing. I very rarely do that. I hate doing it. But it's to let you guys know I'm on your side. I'm not out to get her. I'm out for both you guys. I'll have your front, not your back, so nothing gets through me to you. Okay? And I am not any threat to you. As a matter of fact, if I could talk you guys into moving up, which would be a great idea, don't knock it, because we have daughters and we also have issues, and our daughters do. And these issues are going to guarantee that we each are going to have awful things in our life. We probably won't even know with our daughters because they're distant from us. I've got to change that. But out of like 20 things, which 95 or I'd say 98 or 99% of people never encounter, probably over 99%, maybe 3 to 11 out of 1,000. And it would be like being kidnapped and stuck in a basement like 20 years, like some poor girl, being hit and left to die on a hit and run on a highway, especially in the cold. But any temperature soon grows cold when you're hurting that bad. Overdosing or dying in an awful way, being framed for something you didn't do, like a murder. Listen, this world isn't what I thought it was. The good news is I have changed. And I can't say that I was this very good to great person at one time. I was much better person in many ways at one time. I packed on a lot of damage in a lot of ways, and I can explain some things I even forgot that'll explain these things. Doesn't excuse it, but it'll explain it. Leif is also victim to this trap also, without realizing. She can hate and focus on me, but not realize that she's exactly as bad as I am, and sounds like I sounded or whatever, unless she steps off. And what better way than the dude who is the worst enemy you ever had, who you were the best friend to? She changed me. She greatly contributed to my change. And it would be foolish to not be part of seeing what that can do.